morning, college football maniacs from across the country. This is episode 1 of the Big College Football Show at 11. This week, I will be your host. Go by the Maniac. I'm along with my brothers. I will let them introduce themselves very shortly. But real quick, I just want to inform the people watching that this is a college football show. I know you see many of us on Michigan channels, Ohio State channels. Of course, we're going to speak on our teams, but this is covering the landscape of college football. Everything college football will be spoken here. So again, make sure you tune in every Saturday, 11 a.m., the Big College Football Show at 11. Remember, at 11. So let's not hesitate. Let's get right to it. I'm going to let my brothers introduce themselves. We're going to start from the top, and that is...
What's good? It's your boy M3, 3M, Sir Thrizzleton, all of that. Welcome.
What's going on, everybody? It's Marcus, one half of House Divided. Excited to be here, man. Just busting at the seam to talk about football, man. I told these guys yesterday, smell like football outside.
It did. It definitely did.
That's a fact. And you know, it's me, JOJ, Johnny Olden Jr. Been waiting for this. Been waiting for the season. Long off season, talking about a lot of opinions, which I get tired of. I want to see some hidden. I want to see some execution. And I want somebody to blame for why it ain't going our way.
And my brother.
Yo, it's your boy Josh, another half of House Divided. I left the belt at home today, but you know what it is. We here for college football. I'm ready. Let's get it started.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, fellas, today they call it week 0. So a lot of people ask, why do they call it week 0? So your boy, the Maniac, he said, listen, man, let me do some digging. So I'm going to read the definition so everyone has an idea why week 0 is. Okay, week 0 refers to an abbreviated schedule of games played a week before the official week 1 begins. These games are considered a true start of the season, but are labeled week 0 to distinguish them from the full slate of games that occur over Labor Day weekend and to accommodate NCAA rules about when teams can play. Week 0 games often include matchups overseas, which we got one, to help with travel costs or games that can provide significant financial relief to participating programs. So there you go. That is the definition of week 0, guys. We are here. It is official. Football season is here, man. It's here. It's here. It's here. So look, man, guys, first topic of the first episode, for 2 years, there was a, NCAA. We had Michigan being investigated for 2 years by the NCAA. There was a dark cloud hovering over Ann Arbor due to a advanced scouting that was done by Connor Stallions. Now, many felt like Michigan was going to be punished harshly. And what was that? Wins vacated. Not only wins vacated, but the natty strip. Not only the natty strip, but both season bans on top of that. And look what happened. It didn't happen. So look, we're going to get everybody's opinion on this. But we're going to start with Marcus. Marcus, let the viewers know what exactly was handed down to Michigan. And in your honest opinion, was it a fair punishment?
All right, so here we go. Let's march through everything. I got a full list here. At the top of the list, we have a public reprimand and censure. No. We have 4 years added probation. There were financial penalties, institutional fine of 50 million, 50,000, excuse me, 50,000 plus 10% of its budget for the football program to the NCAA. Fine equivalent to anticipated loss of postseason revenue sharing during the 2025 and 2026 season. So whatever additional funds they got or would have gotten for postseason runs in 25 and 2026 are forfeited. 25% reduction in football official visits during the 2025-2026 season. I think that's the biggest point of contention right now amongst the Michigan faithful. A 14-week prohibition on recruiting communications in the football program during the 4-year probation period. Yeah, that is their pound of flesh. If you were looking for a pound of flesh, that and the visiting restrictions is what they attempted to punish Michigan with, at least in my eyes. You have a 2-year show cause ordered against Coach Sharon Moore, which I guess if you anticipate, Sharon Moore coaching somewhere else immediately here in the immediate future, then that would be something that would be a jeopardy to him personally or any other team that would be looking to hire him. But while he's still at the university, I don't think that that's necessarily too harsh for him personally. You had the show causes for Connor Stallions and Jim Harbaugh as well. Jim Harbaugh getting a 10-year show cause. Connor Stallions receiving an 8-year. Interesting enough, while we're talking all the penalties and stuff that got levied down, one person who came out of this scot-free and smelling good like a newborn baby, who was kind of drugged through the mud throughout this process, was Chris Partridge. And Chris Partridge ends up being the individual who is totally vindicated in all this. I mean, when we talk about the evidence that was brought forth by the NCAA to come to these conclusions, it really didn't depend on a whole lot to quote unquote convict the individuals who were punished in the scandal. But with Chris Partridge, it was full vindication. So I don't know how that, how the university plans to, I don't know what would come of that, seeing as how they handled it in the first place with Chris Partridge. But just as a person, as a human being, you would hope that somebody reached out to Chris Partridge and was like, "Hey man, we handled that one wrong. Like we handled that one completely wrong. We overreacted." I mean, I guess you kind of you revel at the fact that we were in a spot, or they were in a spot, where the attention was on them. So you give them a little bit of bail on that, all right, anything that's even seems like impropriety, now you have to come down hard. You got to get them out of there. I think Bernard Robinson got swept up in all of that as well. But on Chris Partridge's edge, I think it added to a lot of the conspiracy around the story. It added a lot of the, oh, look, they're trying to cover it up. The rats are fleeing the ship. And that drove a lot of people into their mania over this supposed hammer that was supposed to be coming down. I think at the end of the day, this was driven by the same thing that makes college football popular, which is pure unadulterated vitriol for your rival, and people wanting so bad for something to happen where there may not just be, it just may not be the evidence there to do anything. And this is coming from a body who doesn't really deal in evidence, right? I think going into this, before we start talking sign stealing, everybody understood that the NCAA was an organization that didn't play fair. Right? They don't run like an actual court. You don't have the opportunity to speak about your case publicly. You're on a gag order from the immediate allegation. From the minute that you are accused, you're on a gag order. You can't speak on it. Your recourse is all run through internal organizations. The review board is NCAA. The infractions committee is NCAA. Right? Like there is no independent investigation that goes on into something that the accusing body is bringing forth. So it was a kangaroo court to begin with, but then now we're talking about Michigan, and obviously that added to the nature of how this all went. At the end of the day, I think there's a pretty good potential that they might even go back further from what they levied here. Because, I mean, this is the starting point. This is the punishment. This is what they brought forth. Right. So if we were playing this out how we were thinking 6 months, oh, well, they may come back with a ban or they may come back with vacated and then they'll negotiate it back. We didn't even get there. We didn't even get there. So there's a pretty good likelihood that even a lot of the stuff that feels sharp now is not as heavy as maybe thought at the onset.
Got you. So we'll get a rival's opinion on it.
Yes.
So it's just not Michigan. Let's bring him up. Josh, what do you think about the hammer that was levied down to Michigan?
Yeah. So, first of all, the biggest thing that I feel about this whole situation is that there were some Ohio State fans. I think, as we all know, or at least me and Marcus know, I stopped caring about the hammer a long time ago. But for whatever reason, there was a set group of fans that were looking for validation through this. And the problem with all of this is that that's not true validation. Looking for punishment from Michigan is not true validation. If we want validation for the losses that we took to Michigan, we need to go into Ann Arbor this year and stomp a mud hole in their ass. Like just that's validation for us. That's real validation. Go into Ann Arbor, beat Michigan, don't plant a flag, because the Big House is not a place that we want ownership of. We want to go into the Big House, beat y'all, go home, and enjoy our victory in Columbus. That's validation.
Yeah.
That's big boy talk.
That's validation. If we do it.
No, absolutely. And I would say, to your defense, you were one of the ones that never really yelled the hammer stuff. So I respect you for that, Josh. And you hit it right on the nose. Exactly what needs to be done, right? If you looking at it from Ohio State fans' lens, F NCAA, we gotta do it. We go in there and do it. So I respect it. Johnny, talk to us. What's your thoughts on the outcome of this whole hammer situation?
Real quick, Johnny, before you rock, I just wanted to notice there was something in the chat that I forgot when we was reading off the punishments. The institutional fine, the $30 million that the university got as well. Got
you. To me, I didn't get caught up in it because I'm a football guy. I say this all the time. I like to talk football. What's on the field? That's my forte. So all this, conspiracy and information that I don't know, I didn't really want to talk on it because I had no idea. So when it dropped, it didn't surprise me. If we would have got hammered, like the actual hammer, it wouldn't have surprised me either, because I didn't really know everything that was going on. I didn't care to know, honestly, because I'm a football guy. So when it did drop, and Scoop and all these Ohio State fans that got gung-ho about it, it was just a celebration. It was the 4th of July. It was Christmas Eve. It was Christmas Day. It was a celebration, So
for the record, I'm
happy that it's
everything
over
about
with. So, yeah, it was a good day, Josh. It was good.
It's still people. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
No, I'm pretty much done. I'm just happy that it's over with and we can move on. In Michigan's future, we know what they got, so now we can move on. It's going to their what's the word? They're trying to push back on some of the stuff.
The appeal. Yeah,
they're appealing some of the stuff. That's the word. They're appealing some of it, but we can get back to talking football and getting on with it.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
And of course, Mays, we'll have your thoughts, and then we'll move along. What was your thoughts on the whole hammer?
I'll be brief. Obviously the hammer didn't drop in the hammer that was promised was not delivered. Let me say that. Secondly, I do think that this was just a money grab for the NCAA. We know, like, they've been losing lawsuits, like that's their favorite pastime, is to lose in court. So they needed some money, and they figured they'd get it from Michigan. The $30 million, the postseason, handing over the postseason money, the revenue from the postseason. That's what it seems like to me that this was more than anything else. Don't get me wrong. I think, the reduction in official visits hurts. I think the 14-week, ban on recruiting, right, that hurts. But those are the most significant to Michigan personally. But for the NCAA, the most important thing with them was to get some money out of Michigan, which it seems they've done. So that's my opinion on it. I've shared my opinion on the hammer, or the hammer that was promised, and that's about it.
What's wrong with the NCAA getting that money? I mean, y'all been flexing y'all wallet with acquisitions, so we might as well get a bag.
Getting that money.
Nothing's wrong with it. I just think that this is ultimately what it was always going to be, what it was always going to be about. We saw, like, in their statement that was supposed to be a press conference that they changed to like a Zoom meeting. How taking away or vacating wins was never even a possibility for them. And this is out of their mouths. This is what they wrote or what they said. You know what I mean? So if that wasn't a possibility, then I feel like it was always about getting some money back that they've lost in court over the years. So yeah,
doing it to not punish current players is a crazy excuse for not dropping the hammer.
Why is that crazy though?
Why would you want? They used to do it. They used to do that.
But they stopped, used to do that. They stopped doing it though. It doesn't make sense to punish players who just walked in the door,
which shows
something that might have happened 3 years ago.
They've lost any kind of control over the situation.
Josh, you got to start holding on to that 2012 season. That 2012.
You guys cheated.
As long as
no, we didn't.
That cheated.
I thought this was supposed to be an unbiased show. What happened?
Non-biased.
Okay, all right. I feel like I'm getting jumped right now. I don't know.
Wait. We was talking about they've lost institutional control, right? Yeah. Like that's what it shows. If the program in Athens is still running with impunity, it seems like, and they can crash as many cars into side rails as they want in Georgia, I don't want to hear nothing about loss of institutional control. I don't want to hear nothing about it. If we're not going to be serious about something like that, like a claim like that, then we shouldn't just loft it around to try and kneecap our rivals because they got a leg up.
I would say that the example of Georgia further proves the point of losing
they're
control.
Completely unrelated. Like if you talk about loss of institutional control, I would argue the fact that your kids can't drive. Right, like they are all playing Gran Turismo when they're not, practicing football. So that's loss of institutional control. We can't get them to stop racing these Hellcats.
I would say both of those things prove loss of control.
The Georgia campus and surrounding area is like the Hellcat crash testing site.
It's a motor speedway,
right?
Yeah, it's like crazy. The minute they leave his site, they do whatever they want. Now. This was largely laid at the feet of an individual, right? And a few people who might have known, but it never tracked all the way back up to the head coach. How does a death on your team, which I guess we'll move away from this eventually, but how does that not track back to the head coach in some way,
I agree.
Sure.
The NCAA will be cooked shortly.
Yes.
But before we move on.
Yes. We get
M3.
football now. Now, Michigan.
Hold on,
OSU.
real quick.
Go ahead.
Real quick. M3. We got a fit. We got a fit check.
Fit check.
They say you crispy with the zip up.
With the half zip.
Yeah.
This is coach's attire here.
Okay.
And of course, I flipped around my hat today because I wanted to be unbiased today. So,
okay.
we not showing the
if
Michigan,
you
but
fresh,
Right,
we got to
very,
give you
very unbiased.
Very
Very unbiased.
Put that
So
away, Josh.
unbiased.
very,
So unbiased.
Put that away, Josh.
very unbiased, as you guys.
Oh,
can
Yeah,
see.
yeah, right behind you. It says it all, right?
Okay.
All right,
back,
gentlemen.
back
So
to
look,
business.
man, that's it regarding the hammer. Let's get to football. Let's get to the pads, the helmet. Now, we know college football has been changing a lot. The Pac-12 is pretty much done, right? Now it's deemed the Power 4. So my brothers are going to start off. We're going to start with you, Johnny. I need your Power 4 winners and why.
Big Ten. I'm gonna go Penn State.
Oof.
I'm gonna start it off wild. Yeah, Josh. I know you don't like that.
Woo.
Okay, no, this is your prediction.
I'm gonna go Penn State. And Big Ten. I mean, not Big Ten. Big SEC.
Oh no, you gotta explain that. You gotta tell us why.
What you mean?
Why Penn
Thank
State?
you.
You gotta explain
Where
that.
my Penn State by that? Penn State by where you at?
You gotta
Really
explain that.
He's showing up soon.
No, but real talk. Penn State, they're coming off of the same way Michigan in 2023, Ohio State in 2024, where you've got guys that got close and they're coming back to accomplish a goal. And they've got a veteran quarterback. He's not the greatest quarterback, but he is a veteran, which means something. They got the stud backs. They got a good offensive line. They have a good defense every year. If any year was the year for Franklin to beat Ohio State and win the Big Ten, it would be this year. And we don't play them. Michigan doesn't play them, so I ain't got a dog in the fight with them right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna say Penn State because it's all right there for you. Honestly, you just saw how Michigan did. You just saw how Ohio State did. What?
We've literally heard all of this for Penn State multiple years in a row, I feel like.
Jim Knowles has the blueprint out there.
Does he? Does he?
I've heard
he had a good defensive coordinator last year and didn't do it. So
we ain't talking about that.
Okay. All right. This is your prediction.
So
I'm gonna let you get it off. I'm sorry.
That's what I got. SEC. This one is a little tough for me because I do kind of like Texas and think that they probably could win it, but the same way you would say Ohio State has a Michigan problem, seems like Texas has a Georgia problem until further notice. So I'm rocking with Georgia. I mean, we all know that they reload most of the time, so I don't think you need much. I got to see Texas beat them. They got stomped the first time. Second time, didn't even have a starting quarterback. Still found a way to beat them. So I'm gonna roll with them. I got to see Bama. I got to see Texas. I got to see them beat Georgia. ACC, Clemson. You know they got Klubnik and the boys. Dabo. I mean, Dabo gets disrespected. I'm not going to be too long-winded because everybody else got to go. But Dabo gets disrespected to me in the coaching tree, and the best coaches, he seems to always get disrespected. So I'm gonna go with Dabo, and then what we got? The
Big 12.
I'm gonna go with Kansas State. I'm gonna go with Kansas State. Even though looking at this goes to our game of the week, but I would honestly pick Iowa State or Kansas State, and both of those teams are injury riddled. But I'm gonna go Kansas State to win the conference.
Okay, Marcus, give us your 4 Power 4 winners and why.
Cool. I'll start on home turf. We'll talk Big Ten. Listen, I guess I'll give you my reason why I'm picking my champ before I give you the champ, just so we can, get through it smoother. You already have my reasoning. For a Big Ten champion, and I think this even proved itself out in last year's season, right? Not just for who won the Big Ten title, but also the Big Ten team that eventually ended up hoisting the trophy. How do you win this league? You have to control the trenches, right? Offensive line, defensive line are going to be paramount for a lot of people, for most of the league. Having defensive line depth, though, is a luxury. Playing tough is one thing. Having guys 2 or 3 rows deep that can play tough is a luxury that only a few teams have. There's also only, that I've seen, maybe 2 programs in this country, 2 programs in this conference that can stay afloat regardless of quarterback play, who can be respectable regardless of quarterback play. Now, out of those 2 that I've kind of narrowed this down to, who do I have more faith running the gauntlet and giving the schedules? The schedule is key here as well. How strong is your schedule this year? How many opportunities realistically do you have to lose on paper? That is my most unbiased take I can give. I got Michigan winning the Big Ten this year.
Okay.
For that reason. For that reason. They proved, and this was even with a shoddy offensive line last year, they can post 8 wins without a QB, with a pulse, right? And a shoddy offensive line, that comes from scheme dominance. That comes from guys wearing the headsets that know where the football needs to go. Defensively, I think we have the deepest defensive line in the conference. I think we have the deepest, really, front 7 in the conference. So running the ball is going to be kind of a non-starter for Michigan this year. I think the biggest question mark is going to be on the outside. How do they hold up Jair, potentially starting a freshman in Shamari if they don't move Zeke Berry back out there, right? They got some questions in the secondary. Up front, I think they're more stout than any other team in the conference. State, maybe Ohio State, because they have a lot of bodies as well, to be fair. Those were the 2 teams that I narrowed it down to. I think Oregon lost a lot. I think they got to prove to me that their transfer class, their freshmen that they brought in, their newly revamped front 7, what that looks like. Could change my opinion throughout the season. Right now, I still think it boils down to the rivalry for the win of the Big Ten. So that's where I got Michigan. SEC. I kind of wrestled with this one last night. I was really leaning Georgia. I'm a proof of concept guy. Again, like I just said, trench warfare wins over flash. And if there's one thing that Kirby has kind of owned in his time at Georgia, is that he knows when to pedal down and control clock, eat up yardage, and put the ball in the stomach of the tailback. Also, there's never really going to be a Georgia defense that isn't dominant. It doesn't seem like the way that they recruit. All that being said, I like Texas. I like Texas in the SEC. I'll lean on a take that we have from one Van Lathan. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't seen that episode of House Divided, make sure y'all go on there and check that out. Shameless plug. But I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give that one to Texas. Because I like the returning start, or not returning starter, but the return of Arch Manning. The fact that he is going to be able to play pressure-free football. He's not getting benched. That is going to be either a huge positive for him or a huge negative if he doesn't play well. ACC, I agree. Clemson, they're the most established. I don't trust Mario Cristobal. Mike Norvell is a paper tiger. I think in that race, I'm picking Clemson in the ACC for the fact that there isn't a big enough bully to knock them off their perch.
Facts.
Big 12. I'm gonna go Utah. I think their odds to win the conference are double what Iowa State's are. And if we talking about Kansas State being a foe to them, maybe at the top, their quarterback, and we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the game of the week. Their quarterback, the guy who replaced who'd you guys get? Your quarterback last year, Josh?
Will Howard.
Will Howard. He's a good runner. I think he led the Big 12 in rushing yards as a QB. There's still much to be proven on how he's going to be able to play on the outside. You start talking about winning the conference, you're going to have to win some games on your arm, or at least be placed in some situations where you're going to have to be the difference maker. So I like a steady program like Utah that I know is going to be able to run the football, is going to put out a stout defense, sound scheme.
They play like a Big Ten team, honestly.
Yeah, for sure. I like that. I'm a little bit more comfortable with that than a shot at Kansas State. Not to say that they can't do it, because they're obviously a dominant running team as well. It's just, the answers at quarterback is up there for everybody. I feel a little bit more comfortable with Utah. Is that 4?
Yes.
That's 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, good. Mays, give us your 4 conference winners this coming season.
You're muted, Mays.
I want to start with the obvious ones first. I'm not going to start with the Big Ten, but ACC, I think, is one of the more cut and dry. I like Clemson for much of the reason that that Marcus pointed out, that there's no clear bully to, move them off their square. I like Clemson there. The Big 12, I like Kansas State. I know that Avery Johnson is the quarterback there. I know that, he's a good runner, but he also, I think, led that conference with 25 passing touchdowns or something like that, or he was up there. So I like him because his legs obviously draw people up, and he's able to, then have more wide open passing lanes. So I like Kansas State there. Utah is a sneaky team, though, because they play better defense, I think, than like a Kansas State or Iowa State even, who plays pretty decent. But I like Kansas State. Then we move to the SEC, where I like Texas. I just think they're the most complete team in the country, really. Although it's still much to see with Arch, but by all accounts, he's going to be a good quarterback. From what we saw in limited, sort of time last year, he can play a little bit, right? So I'm not really worried about Arch. I know, like, between the ears, he should be solid with his pedigree. So I'd like Texas there as just being the most complete team. Georgia, though, does scare me. They did improve vastly at wide receiver, which was kind of like their biggest hole a season ago. But I like Texas to win that. And then in the Big Ten, this is going to shock some people. I'm not going to pick Michigan here because I think that Michigan has a lot of questions in terms of experience at quarterback, which is the most important position. We saw with not having a quarterback there with Michigan last year. And I'm not saying that Bryce is already an upgrade over what we had last year. And I haven't even seen him play an actual football game yet, right? But he's an improvement for sure. But I like Penn State. I'm gonna go with Johnny here. For as much trouble or as much flack that Drew Aller has gotten, and deservedly so. I want to point out, if you have any questions, refer to my interview with Drew Aller on the Maze Madman channel. It's a classic. For as much flack as he's gotten, he is, it does feel like it's his time. It feels like time, and not just for him, but for his head coach too. Because if he doesn't win now, then he never will. And I'm talking about James Franklin. And with Drew Aller, it does feel like, they've gotten to that level that Johnny was talking about, that Michigan got to in 2023, that Ohio State got to a season ago, where their experience matched their talent and whatever, right? And it's just time. And I feel like it's time for Penn State. They have to get over the other state hurdle, of course. But I think they do that this year. I think they win the Big Ten. I think they go deep in the playoffs. But that's my take on it.
You muted, Maniac.
He should be muted. He's done, isn't he?
Your 4 winners, Josh. My fault. Josh, your turn. Talk to it.
All right. Let me start off with the easiest one. Get it out the way. Clemson's winning the ACC. It just is what it is. I don't think there's anybody, like Marcus said earlier, that is going to challenge them in any kind of real way. So ACC, Clemson. Let's talk about Big 10, Big 12, SEC. SEC is Texas. I don't feel like there's anybody that can challenge the weapons that they have on either side of the ball between defense or offense. While I don't have them necessarily beating us, I think they will go from there and make some tremendous moves and obviously make it deep into the playoffs and all that good stuff. So I got Texas winning the SEC. Okay, for the Big 12, I'm surprised nobody said it. I got Arizona State. Cam Scatterboo is not there anymore, but they went and picked up a running back from Army, Kanye Udo, 1,000-yard running back. I like Kenny Dillingham, and I think their schedule is easy enough to make it through the Big 12. I think they do have some tests, but at the same time, they're like low tier tests. So I got Arizona State winning the Big 12. And then outside of that, Big 10.
It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. It's great to be.
So this is going to be my last week on the I came here with the guys that this is going to be unbiased.
My man. I was trying to change the battle.
But it's cool. So for the Big 10, I've got a team.
I thought you left it at home.
I've got a team that a lot of people are sleeping on, apparently, because they're bringing in a new quarterback, they're bringing in a new defensive coordinator. But I've seen a lot of things in the last year when they won a national championship that proves to me that they've got what it takes to go in and not only win the Big 10, but win another national championship. So with that being said, I have Ohio State winning the Big 10.
All right.
Boom. That's my 4.
Perfect. All right. Real quick. No, definitely. So just real quick for my 4, as if you watch, May's show, we did a show every Monday for like the last 4 weeks on who we think is going to win each conference. I'm going Penn State, Georgia, Arizona State, and of course, Clemson. Clemson, obviously, they're going to be a national champion contender. Everything starts at quarterback, man. So Cade Klubnik, he's a beast. He got 2 receivers returning, a freshman who made All-American honors. He's going to be a deep threat. They returned 3 starting O-linemen. I mean, they're going to be stacked again. And Dabo is one of the greatest coaches of this generation. No one can debate that. Clemson, ACC, that's a slam dunk. Penn State. Now, I know the joke, right? It's always a joke because you're right. James Franklin's been a joke. He's been the gag master. He's the king of gagging. He's the gagster. But you know what?
Wow.
Eventually.
If it wasn't James Franklin, I would have said pause, but it's James Franklin.
So this is the time, guys. And I believe Mays alluded to it. Johnny alluded to it. The same recipe, the 23 Michigan team and the 24 Ohio State team, Penn State is right there. Can the Big 10 continue their dominance in college football by winning a 3rd straight natty? Penn State, I believe, gives us the best chance. And on top of that, Drew Allard is a veteran quarterback. I'm not big on him, but I think he's good enough. They don't need his arm to win the natty. They're just going to need it at times, just like J.J. McCarthy in 23. So they got the running game. They got the veteran. They got the coaching staff. This is James Franklin's year to do it. So I'm picking them to win the Big 10. But I think the Big 10 is a 4-team race. Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan. I think one of those 4 are guaranteed to win it. Anyone outside of that, I'll be beyond shocked. The Big 12, yes, Arizona State. Listen, man, the Sun Devils, they returned the best quarterback in that conference. We saw him while he was doing in the playoffs. They arguably shafted him in the playoffs against Texas. A horrible call that went against them. And on top of that, they returned 9 starters on defense. That's a lot, bro. That's about 85% of your defense coming back. So that matters a lot. So I'm going with the Sun Devils. And then and then the SEC. I got to go with Georgia. And, I know it's a Texas-Georgia race. Alabama's a sneaky team as well, but we don't know about Ty Simpson. But I'm going Georgia. I believe Georgia's going to get it done. Kirby, his defense last season did not live to expectations. There was games in the season where they got straight carved up a lot, and I think they put a lot of emphasis on that defense this coming season. So expect Georgia to look vintage Georgia this year. The only question is their quarterback, right? Gunnar Stockton, how good can he produce for them? And that's going to be the major question mark. But coaching matters. I'm going Kirby and the Bulldogs to win the SEC. So now we gave our picks regarding that. Now, of course, individual reward, gentlemen, the Heisman. The Heisman, the most prestige trophy in all of college football. Mays, we're going to start with you. Who hosts that trophy in late December?
Yeah, I'll be quick. I think, I want it to be quick. I'm going to be quick. All right. I think Cade Klubnik at the end of the day is going to win the Heisman Trophy. They're going to win that conference. He's probably going to look good doing it. So Cade Klubnik, Heisman Trophy winner right now.
You muted, Maniac.
To myself. All right. So, Mays, I like that pick. Marcus, your Heisman winner.
Ooh, another one I flip-flopped on a lot. This was like one of them ones that's like a layup for Arch Manning, right? It's a layup. I think there's a way. There's 2 games on this individual schedule that if he performs well, even wins them, he can fast track himself to New York. It's John Mateer, right? John Mateer has a game against Michigan in week 2. And obviously he got the Red River rivalry, the Red River shootout is what I knew it as. But that game, he's got 2 opportunities on national TV to capture the college football world, right? And shock against 2 pretty stout defenses. He performs in both of those games. I don't see how you keep him out of New York. You know he's going to have the numbers. It feels like they've kind of really meshed whatever they're going to be doing on offense around Mateer. You look at a lot of the additions that Oklahoma had here in the offseason behind him. I think that he's poised to have a good statistical year. It's just, is he going to have the wow moments? Is he going to have the big plays against the big teams that he plays? Ain't nobody going to be paying attention to him throwing 500 yards versus Iowa State. But you go up there and you put up some numbers versus Michigan, you put up some numbers versus Texas. Now all of a sudden the conversation becomes John Mateer is the front runner. So I'm gonna go with Mateer.
Beautiful. Josh, talk to us. Your Heisman winner.
Yeah, so I would love to get up here and say that it's either going to be Julian Sayin or Jeremiah Smith, but realistically, I think this is a white quarterback type of year. It's probably going to be Arch Manning. Arch Manning, Cade Klubnik, your choice. Your choice. It's going to be one of those years.
Okay.
I'll pick him.
Johnny.
Sure.
I think I'm gonna go with the obvious pick this year. I'm gonna go with Arch Manning. He's waited his time, been in the same system for a couple years, in a system that's favorable for quarterbacks with Sark, and Sark has honestly been holding back that system with Quinn Ewers, because Quinn Ewers, to me, he kind of had a noodle arm. Like when he tried to throw deep, he would kind of throw it to the moon. He had a weird deep ball. To me, Arch is more the prototypical, passer where he can make every throw. and he doesn't have to make it a certain type of way. He's going to get it there. And also his legs, which I think people are kind of forgetting how athletic he is. So I'm going to go with the easy choice with Arch Manning this year.
All right. Beautiful. And my winner, just like Mays and Josh alluded to, I'm going Cade Klubnik from Clemson. He has two good receivers. Their schedule's not the toughest. The ACC is not the toughest. I think, Dabo has something to prove this year. I think he wants to remind the country, listen, once upon a time, I was shoulder to shoulder with the GOAT, so I expect K to get it done this year, man. I think he gets it done, as long as he can stay healthy, man. Healthy, health is everything in this sport. But I go K Klubnik, but of course I could see Arch. I mean, Jeremiah Smith as well.
Yeah. I think he's a dark horse for the Heisman, honestly. Definitely,
man. So there you go. That's our Heisman winners. Now we're gonna go Natty winners. Who says I'm the Natty champion this season? Marcus, we're gonna start with you. Who wins it all this year?
Okay. All right, so it's not going to be Michigan. I'll put Michigan to the side. I'll have us winning the conference. I don't think we'll run the playoff to win the Natty. There's a couple of teams that I think are going to vie just by way of having a lot of returning starters, having a system already in place that they were running the year prior that didn't take a lot of adjustment, right? Georgia, Texas are at that list. Clemson is at that list, I think, by way of having the type of run that they're probably going to have through the ACC. They'll have a lot of momentum and obviously a Heisman candidate quarterback. When I look at those three teams, because I absolutely do not trust Penn State and James Franklin. I don't know why there's so much faith amongst us in that program, but if they're the ones leading the Big Ten and it's not going to be Michigan, then obviously I'm looking outside of the conference for this year, for this year's national champion. So I'm looking at Clemson, I'm looking at Texas, I'm looking at Georgia. Ooh, give me Texas as the SEC champion, but Georgia wins the Natty. I'll take Kirby, Gunnar Stockton, Zachariah Branch, that running game, the massive offensive line. I think in a playoff setting, they're hard out. And when I look at Sark, Kirby, and Dabo, it would be Kirby or Dabo. I'm going Kirby. Give me Kirby.
All right, cool. Josh, who's winning the Natty?
Okay, so if I look at some of the top teams right now, I can easily write off. Well, not easily. I'm gonna easily write off Penn State because Penn State has done absolutely nothing to prove to me that they're going to win the multiple big games on their regular season, let alone they had the easiest way to the national championship last year and did nothing with it. James Franklin is a choke artist. I'm writing off Penn State immediately. If I look at Texas doesn't quite have the experience I'm looking for in first of all, in winning some of the big games that they've had, but then also deep in the playoffs, they didn't do it last year. I might sound biased, but the only thing that really concerns me, why do we keep getting a switch from me to Marcus?
I don't even know how that one happened.
What's going on with that? Anyway, it might sound biased because obviously I'm an Ohio State fan, but if I can at least posit, the only problem that I see currently for Ohio State is depth on the defensive line. I've got Ohio State winning it. I mean, tight end, best tight end in the game, wide receiver room crazy. I think the running back room is going to surprise a lot of people. If Julian Sayin can operate with that, amazing gameplay. The defense looks great. The defense is returning a lot of key people that a lot of people seem to be forgetting. Sonny Styles, Caleb Downs, the best defensive player in the nation. So, look, I'm just going to call it Ohio State's winning the national championship again.
back to back with a rookie starter.
With the freshman, the rookie starter. Yeah.
What a hot take!
I hear why Julian's saying hesitation, but at the same time, Ryan Day is a quarterback whisperer. With the exception of Kyle McCord, I think he'll be fine. I think he's
so y'all gonna run the table and win the Big Ten, and then go on and run the playoff and win the national championship.
Yes, because who else is going to do it?
That's
right.
luck.
No, absolutely.
Hey, listen,
now, with that being said, shout out to Michigan. I do think y'all do better this year, but y'all gonna have some hiccups.
So wait, are y'all going undefeated? Are y'all going undefeated in the regular season?
Well, the only question to that is beating Texas.
Ayo,
the only question is it my turn? Beating Texas.
Yes.
This is getting more and more ridiculous.
Yes. This man, wow. Is it? Man, wow.
Is it?
M3.
So it's a guarantee that you're going to walk into Ann Arbor.
Skip Bayless? It's my turn.
I didn't say a guarantee, but I clearly have Ohio State beating Michigan this year.
Put your glasses back on. It's my turn.
My turn.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
My turn.
Okay. All right, listen. First of all, I want to point out that Josh left something out. He said the only problem he sees in front of Ohio State is their defensive line. There's a team in Ann Arbor that has been more than a roadblock for them for the past 4 years. So there's that.
They weren't.
All right. Secondly, somebody in the Garrison, you got this wrong. And Josh, Penn State got to the playoff. They won 2 playoff games. They should have won the third. But James Franklin. I have to concede that. And he called a pass play when all he had to do was take a knee, go to overtime, whatever. Tomato. All right, we move on. I think the national championship winner is unfortunately going to come out of the SEC and unfortunately beat Texas this year. I alluded to it already. They are the most complete team in my estimation. I think they're going to be a very hard out. I think, though, they play that national championship against, hold your breath, Penn State and James Franklin.
Yeah. Johnny, talk to us.
It's so early. I'm having honestly, I don't know. But if I'm gonna pick, it's definitely not Ohio State. Definitely not you.
I feel like y'all are getting this Penn State love off just to spite me in this case. Just to spite Ohio State in this case.
I didn't say anybody. I didn't say Penn State.
None of y'all really believe in James Franklin this way.
I said they'll win the Big Ten.
Remember my playoff picks last year?
May
I was
said
Penn State.
Okay, all right.
I didn't say that they win the championship. Honestly, I'm having a little conundrum. I'm with Texas and Georgia. I'm having a little conundrum with them. I think Georgia's gonna bounce back. I mean, they won the SEC last year with wide receivers that can't catch, with their starting quarterback getting hurt, and he was kind of a head case when he wasn't hurt. Still won the SEC. And I'm gonna take Georgia. For some reason, I'm slick a Kirby fan. The way he does it. Maybe I've watched too many of their season, the dogs that's on, and you can watch the behind the scenes. Maybe I watched too much of that. But I'm going with Georgia. I think Kirby's gonna have them boys hungry to get back to what they've been doing and winning championships. I believe in that a little bit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Texas won also, because Texas also has been right there on the doorstep for the last couple years. 2023, they were on the doorstep. They were kind of on the doorstep last year, going against Ohio State. They were on the doorstep. So some of those dudes got the growing pains, and you knocking on the door. Now we got our quarterback that's supposed to be that dude, the savior, the prodigal son, Arch Manning. So I wouldn't be surprised if Texas won it also. But I'm gonna go with Georgia.
All right. Perfect. So listen, obviously, guys, I'm gonna say something. Yeah, Utah State is winning the Natty. We know Utah State is winning the Natty. What are we talking about here? nah. So yeah, this might be. Look, this is the beauty about college football, guys. That it's so unpredictable, right? For the most part, as far as Natty winners, we know there's only about 4 or 5 that have a realistic chance of winning it. But now with an expanded playoffs, you could kind of fall through them cracks depending where you're seated at. You might have an easy path to a Natty, especially if there's some upsets. So you never know with college football. But my pick for the 2025 national champions, and I think my brother said it. I'm gonna go with Penn State. They were knocking on the door. They got to get it done this year. If they don't get it done, then they never getting it done under Franklin. This is going to be their best
never
time.
getting it done with Franklin.
I know. Listen, and we know. Look, that's the obvious. We know Franklin. I said it. You know, he's a Diddy party attender. Wow. He needs. But now I think they locked in. Penn State, to me, we saw they were 1 game away from the Natty. So, and they're going to be a better team. So I'm going to go with them. You know, of course, honorable mentions, Clemson, Texas, Georgia. I think those are the obvious. There's always maybe a Bama in there. Who knows? But that's going to be my Natty winner for the 2025 season. But I can't wait, man, because it's definitely going to be a roller coaster ride this season like it is every season. But now, the game of the week, guys, the game of the week. Right? In a couple of minutes, we will be getting our first college football season of the game. That's the Kansas State Wildcats versus Iowa State Cyclones. Before we get into that real quick, we also have at 4 p.m. Idaho State versus UNLV. OG, the startup.
A lot of Michigan fans are going to be watching that.
Let's see how he looked.
Definitely going to be picking that.
UNLV is going to be a sleeper team. Period.
Yes, they got a lot of transfers. Good transfers.
They're gonna be
like
good.
It's a
there
good
will
team.
be an APB put out on what's the quarterback coach name?
Campbell.
Campbell.
Yeah,
after this week.
He will pay for his crimes.
He will pay
war crimes against the University of Michigan.
Then at 6:30 p.m., we got Fresno State, the Bulldogs versus Kansas Jayhawks, right? Kansas 14.5 favorite. 7 p.m., Sam Houston State versus Western Kentucky. That's when you could go on your date and do whatever you got to do. 7:30 p.m., the final game of the night is the Stanford Cardinals going up against Hawaii, the Rainbow Warriors.
Go on another date.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, we're going to start. We're going to start with you. Kansas State, Iowa State, live from Dublin, Ireland. Who wins and why?
Oof, yikes. I really want to go with Kansas State, but I like Matt Campbell. So give me Iowa State.
Copy. Okay.
Simple.
May.
I'm going K-State. I have them winning the conference, and I think the quarterback's going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate this year. I think he's in New York at the end of the season. Avery Johnson, yeah.
Marcus.
Yeah, give me Kansas State. A lot to replace on offense for Iowa State. I think Johnson is the offense for Kansas State, along with the running backs that they'll probably work into that option offense. So I'm going Kansas State early while the offenses are still sputtering a bit.
Okay, good. And Johnny.
I'm gonna go Iowa State. Campbell seems to put a focus on this game to where they've had Kansas State's number for the most part for the last few years, honestly. So I'm expecting that to continue, even though Avery Johnson is slick nice and got to start, got that first year starting, being the starter in the past now. I got those reps. Which means a lot. But I think Iowa State finds a way to win it. I'm going to go with them.
Perfect. And yeah, I'm going Iowa State. This team is coming off their most wins in school history last season. I think that momentum rides into this season. They going up. This is a good game. This should be a good college football game, decent, something to watch and really look into. Iowa State, they the Iowa of the Big 12, but they Iowa State, they just literally one of those teams they always competing. They lose games, close games. They always on the brink of winning the Big 12. I mean, they were in the championship last season. They lost to Arizona State. So I'm gonna go Iowa State, but it should be a good game. To me, this is a 50-50 game. Kansas State is favored by 3.5. So that's pretty close to a pick 'em when you really look at it. So it should be interesting. But guys, college football is back. Again,
real quick. Because I want to keep the tally of this. We're gonna start this, but real quick, everybody give a winner for all the other games.
Oh yeah, so Maze, real quick. I think we all gonna agree. UNLV. I got UNLV.
Yup.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm going Kansas over Fresno.
Okay.
I got I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm going Sam Houston over Western Kentucky.
You're wild.
And and I'm taking the Cardinals over the Rainbow Warriors.
Over the Rainbow Warriors.
I'm gonna take the Cardinals over the Rainbow Warriors too, but give me Western Kentucky. That's the only thing I disagree with you on.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
Sam
right.
Houston not getting
And
drafted.
of course, I'm going Iowa State as well for the big game.
Oh,
all right.
And of course, everybody else chose K-State. No.
Yeah, I had Iowa State.
I chose Iowa State.
Okay, so
The
Josh
bottom
and
two
Maniac,
had
Iowa
Iowa.
State. All right, let's do it. All right, we're good.
Yeah. All right. So, guys, again, thank everybody for joining. This was the first episode of the Big College Football Show at 11. Every Saturday, we will be here 11 a.m. sharp, talking college football. Definitely tune in next Saturday. I know it's going to get heated. We got Ohio State, Texas. We got LSU, Clemson. We got Alabama, Florida State. We got Notre Dame, Miami. We got Bryce Underwood's first game. There's going to be a lot to talk about. We need you guys in the chat to participate. Again, thanks for joining. We will be here every Saturday, 11 a.m. It's your boy, the Maniac, Marcus, Maze, Johnny, and Josh. And we out. One.